It's the Elgin Cultural Arts Manager employee.
We're not asking for that. I'm asking about the guidance and the policies and procedures.
Okay, but not the employee portion of it.
Right. No, I'm just saying their model of how they implement the program is something I think that we need to take a closer look at.
Okay.
And so if staff could kind of say, this is how we would interpret Elgin's policy here in Lisle, knowing that we're different sized and we're a different type of community, I would love to see what staff would come up with, kind of leveraging that model.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Am I explaining that well?
It works for me.
I think we can give village manager more that direction, and he'd come up with something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have concurrence on that?
We do.
Okay, excellent. That takes care of that. We'll move on to village board comments. Start with Trustee Duffy. Do we need to go around the?
Nothing else for me.
Nice.
Thank you.
Trustee Quetzal?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Sadat?
Come out for the National Family Night Out.
Trustee Greco?
Something I forgot to mention at the end of our regular council meeting, and that is the village is aware of the water main breaks on Burlington. In that we're, I was asked what was going on, and being a village board member, explained the best I could with the information that we have at hand right now. And right now, originally we thought we had a problem with the main itself. It's a relatively young water main. The water mains generally last 100 years. They usually don't start failing cataclysmically in 1 week, all at the same time. And our public works director looked at the SCADA data and was able to find that in fact our pressures as being delivered by the DuPage Water Commission were fluctuating, and were likely the cause of the and systemic to the breaks that were happening on Burlington. So we as a village have actually the Public Works Director Elias has reached out to the DuPage Water Commission and we're currently trying to find out what may have happened with our supply during the events of those water main breaks that had occurred. So I don't know if a water main replacement on Burlington is necessarily warranted. I know we had a lot of repairs, but again, we do have data that indicated that there was kind of a water hammer effect from the supply side of it from DuPage Water Commission, and that we are currently working with the DuPage Water Commission to find out what may have triggered those fluctuations. So anyway, that's all we know at this moment in time. But we're definitely keeping an eye on our supply side right now, and hopefully no more water main breaks. But that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Mullen?
Actually, going first sometimes puts you at a disadvantage. So now that I'm going last, I would like to comment on a couple things that were said in the first meeting. I agree with Trustee Quetzal that the lens being used is a good one, and I feel that we did use it when we talked about the TIF, because we had discussions on return on investment and metrics, and those metrics were incorporated into the project agreement, which is one of the things I think that we all agreed was important. I also feel it's necessary to clarify that this is not a subsidy. There is nothing about this that is subsidized living, and is not taxpayer funded. This is a TIF that is based upon the increase in value of the property that the applicant provides. The tax money is what would be seen because of the increase in value of the property. It's truly a false narrative we need to stop, because it just does damage to our reputation that we don't even understand TIF. Lastly, I said in the last discussion on LADP that events do not necessarily equate to economic development, and sometimes it can even hinder it. And I agree that as we came out of COVID, events were important. And that's why we actually had an intergovernmental event that I don't believe the village participated in. The Park District Library and Township helped support a drive-in movie night, and I don't believe the village contributed to that. So I agree that events are important, but that event was fun. I enjoyed going to it. My family enjoyed it. My kids were super excited to eat popcorn in their pajamas in our minivan, but it did not contribute and drive economic development, which is the point of LEDP. So I just want to be really clear that I don't think anyone has a problem with events. It just we have to make sure that we're contributing to the future of Lyle in doing so. That's all.
Thank you. And to close, the village did contribute to that drive-in night. I believe the village contributed a $500 check, if I'm not mistaken. The village contributed. Yeah. But it'd be interesting to see what the success of that event was, what the turnout was. But
Said its point was not economic development, it was getting people out, and it was full, it was sold out.
Yeah. All right. With that, any staff comments?
None tonight, Mayor.
Thank you. With that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Deputy Clerk Arnold, please call the roll.
Trustee Duffy?
Aye.
Trustee Mullen?
Aye.
Trustee Kowitzel?
Aye.
Trustee Greco?
Aye.
Trustee Sadat?
Aye.
Mayor Pisak?
Aye, we are adjourned for this evening. Thank you all.